Morning, Internet. Nice to see you again. I'd like to talk about an experience I had that was actually directly affected by the very first video I posted. Because when I posted that video, I actually decided to go ahead and break my ban, I guess, on posting on a forum. I am not a stranger to the ways of the online communities. And I realized that I've had a lot of more positive experiences this time around, especially, and almost surprisingly so, because trolls exist. This is online, this is the era we live in. There are people out there who it seems to be their goal in life to try and make other people miserable. I'm not going to go into the psychology of that because it really doesn't matter. So I went ahead and I posted the same question on ArcheryTalk and started a thread on ArcheryTalk, asking the same question. Linking to the video, linking to the form analysis video, the most recent form analysis video, and honestly, pretty much 100% of the thread posts were helpful in some way. And I posted in the traditional archery section, even though I was, again, at the time, I was actually in the back of my mind thinking I'm going into target recurve, so I was going to post there, but I posted in the traditional section because that was more the style that I was using, and more the style I'm also using right now. And yeah, almost 100% of the feedback was useful. There were a couple of posts that were a little bit more frank, I guess you could call it, and that's okay. At the time, I actually, I was a little bit taken aback by some of the gruffness that the people were talking to me with, and that's when you've got to realize, and you got to take a step back, especially when you're talking about online, is that everything you've either got to take with a grain of salt or realize that text does not carry emotion. You cannot get inflection, you cannot get context other than what you see. So it might have been a little bit of mutual misunderstanding between me and this person. I'm not gonna put anyone on the spot. I'm not even gonna link to the thread because it's kind of over and done. I've gotten everything that I wanted out of it. I was simply explaining what I was doing at the time, and he, I believe, took it to mean that's what I'm gonna do no matter what you say. And so he decided to take it upon himself to try and give me some, as he called it, tough love, which honestly I don't really respond well to. I don't know anyone that really does respond well to tough love. Maybe they're, again, everyone's different. But again, it wasn't necessarily unhelpful. They had a lot of good ideas because at the time I was having, again, a lot of problems with that small tab, and they had a lot of good ideas about going to a local shoe shop and trying to pick up some of their leather scraps to make your own, which honestly, that might be something I look at in the future if I had any actual shoe stores around here other than, Payless or the Walmart shoe section. There really aren't very many actual shoemakers around these days, or shoe repairmen or anything like that, especially where I live. So finding, leather scraps like that might be a challenge unless I, go to a craft store, and the leather there, obviously, you're not only paying for, the quality is going to be questionable because you honestly have no idea what you're getting. So I'm not sure I'm going to go that route yet, because I'm using the glove again, and it's not causing the arrow pinch problem because I switched to 3 under. I just wanted to put it out there that, yes, Archery Talk, I think, is a really great resource. I think it's a really great place to ask questions without, having to worry too much about getting a lot of, again, trolls. So I guess the biggest thing to take away from this is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Not necessarily post videos like I've been doing, but don't be completely afraid to put yourself out there if you're a beginner in a fairly vulnerable way like that. You may not have the exact same positive experience that I had, but that doesn't mean you won't have positive things from it. There were a couple of people there especially that they didn't have as much advice, but they had some really fairly inspiring words. And again, that's one of those things that actually really surprised me, was to see this kind of reaction online when I'm so used to honestly, when I'm so used to World of Warcraft trade chat, if you play World of Warcraft, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's a hard comparison to make, but it seems like the people there are certain people in some of these online communities who it seems like their entire purpose in life is to try and get a reaction out of people, is to try and make people uncomfortable or irritated or mad. And those people seems to be, they congregate in specific places, and I tend to avoid those places online. So again, I was hesitant, but in the long run, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I went through with the post, and I'm glad that I was able to get the information that I did, because now I'm actually, I like I said in the setup video, I'm using the glove again. I'm using it 3-under instead of split, because with some of the information that was provided to me, I've been doing New Sensei, or following New Sensei and watching New Sensei's videos ever since I first discovered him 3 months ago when I pretty much first started out. And tons of really, really awesome information, but his channel and his videos are centered around target recurve or Olympic style recurve. But most of the concepts he talks about are still really good for just about any archer. But someone on the forum told me about Merlin's Archery Adventures with a chap called, and I call him a chap because he's British, great guy, Grizzly Jim is the one that does the videos for that channel, very centered around traditional archery. And there were a lot of the videos I watched from him they're what really, really clicked with me as much as New Sensei's did, if not more so, because that is the style I'm shooting, is traditional. And that is what he shoots, is traditional. And just the visualizations that he talks about, the instinctive style that he talks about, which is where you don't really use any formal aiming at all. You just kind of, like throwing a baseball. You can't aim throwing a baseball. You just kind of throw it, and you have a general sense of where you're throwing it. It's never perfect because of that, but it's still pretty darn good. And a lot of the videos that I watched with the Archery Adventures and with Grizzly Jim, they gave me a lot more visualization, a lot more technique, and a lot more of the style that I needed. And I was very, very appreciative of the fact that someone showed me those videos. And I want to let everyone else know that you don't have to be afraid of everything. As long as you understand that no one's experience is going to be exactly the same as mine, I'm sure. And if you ask a silly question, you may get some silly answers. And mine was kind of a silly question, to be honest. After thinking about it, and after, again, some of the other stuff I've gone through since then, mine was a very silly question. But I still got some really, really solid advice, some very good advice, and some very good resources that I was turned on to. So very, very thankful for that. Very grateful for the people over there on the traditional archery forums of Archery Talk. Thanks, guys. Anyway, that's kind of all I have for right now. I'm still thinking if I'm going to do another experience video about, just kind of my shooting, or if I'm just going to do a form analysis video to show you the way I'm shooting now. Once I make that determination, obviously, if you follow me at all, you'll find out. So I hope to see you again, Internet. I hope that you come back. I hope you got something helpful and useful out of this, and I will talk to you later.